extinction.
I think it's safe to say that one of those supporters is the Conservative MP for Edinburgh in Cheshire, Edward Timpson, who joins us on BBC Radio Stoke this lunchtime. Good afternoon.
Hi there, Stuart.
It's safe to say you are a supporter of Chester Zoo, isn't it?
Well, I'm one of those many people in Cheshire, and in fact right across the country, who've been going to Chester Zoo since I was a little boy. You know, you drive around Cheshire and Stoke, you see a lot of people with the Chester Zoo sticker on the back of their car. You know, it's a much-loved attraction, but just as important are those 35,000 animals there who are part of a crucial conservation project that the zoo has, as a charity, been doing for the best part of 80 years now. So yes, I'm a big supporter, but obviously they're in dire straits at the moment. And as someone who's been contacted by many of my constituents over the last 48 hours or so, I share those concerns, and I'm doing what I can to help get them open as soon as possible.
What can you do, and what are you doing about this?
Well, first and foremost, I think we all have to accept that what's paramount here is that public health is protected. Of course, that has to be the case. And as we come out of lockdown, we need to think carefully about how we do that in a safe way. But I know Chester Zoo. I'm sure you've been there as well, Stuart. It's a huge place, masses of outdoor space where they can social distance with guidance from the staff easily. I know they've put a lot of COVID secure measures in place. And so the case that we're making, not just me, but other MPs across Cheshire and sort of surrounding Chester, to the government, particularly through the Department for Environment, Farming and Rural Affairs, is it's ready to go. And the longer we wait, the more damaging it could be, not just to Chester Zoo as an institution, but of course the animals that they look after. So time is pressing. I was on your show only a few weeks ago talking about garden centres and getting them open because they've got space where people could still safely go about their business, and we've made progress on that. They're now open, and it seems to me that the time when we've got National Trust gardens opening, Tatton Park is opening, people queuing outside IKEA in Cheshire, that this is now the time for us to take that next step for zoos and other open spaces where it's safe for the public to go and enjoy what has been an institution in our area for very, very many years.
And one of the points that Mark made on our breakfast programme this morning is that it's inconceivable that the zoo would be able or allowed to fail. But with racking up to £25 million worth of debt, I don't want to sort of come here as though I'm the Grim Reaper or something, but it's a really worrying time, not just for Mark and the team at Chester, but for people who own and run these places where they are doing conservation work and looking after animals, because the costs haven't, and I know there's furlough for the staff, but they still need to come in and muck out the animals and feed them. So that's an issue. The costs haven't really gone down, but the income's gone, hasn't it?
It has, and as we heard earlier, around I think 97% of the income comes from visitors, so that's immediately lost. And yes, the furlough scheme has benefited not just Chester Zoo, but thousands and thousands of businesses across the country. It's been hugely helpful, and you start to wonder what we'd have done without it. But you're right, there are other overheads which continue, and for zoos there's that particular one which is looking after 35,000 animals in the case of Chester Zoo. Their welfare has to be maintained at the same level, and that comes at a cost. So I think we are at a stage now where we know that we can start to safely open places like Chester Zoo. It's going to start to push them financially into a better position and hopefully save them from moving into an area that none of us want to contemplate, which is them really struggling to stay open.
As a child, do you have a fond memory of being there? Is there a favourite section that you always dragged the family to?
Well, I do remember a lot of the foster children we used to look after. It was one of our favourite visits was to take them to the zoo. And I do remember a sort of a scary moment one day when a rumour went around the zoo that one of the monkeys had escaped. I don't think it actually happened, but I know there have been one or two instances like that in the past. So that was probably the most dramatic. But I suppose from my point of view, you can't beat the reptile house. It's someone who has a bit of a phobia against them. I think there's a sort of slightly defeating interest in it. But, it's a great place. It's grown so much over my lifetime. I enjoy taking my own family there, and I just hope many more families can continue to go there in the future.
Keep us posted on any developments. I'm sure you will. Thanks for your time this afternoon.